Thanks for inviting me for this special occasion, and of course, I'm very happy to deliver the session for the clients of TradeSmart, and of course, most of you people may be familiar with Darts. I think it's a pretty common a trading software, but which offers more towards the research platform. And about myself, Ms. Deepthi already given me an idea about. I'm a SEBI-registered research analyst, so I'm someone who's more on the technical end, but I see this tool something offers, which can really a common man can even make use of it. So I thought, I'm happy to present this particular tool for an intraday trader, or even a positional trader, or even a derivative trader, how we can actually make use of it. So if you see that from here, I'm gonna have a kind of 1 hour, a time frame which I'm looking at to deliver this content. So I'm gonna decide things into. First let me talk about how convenient it is, because as a trader we want something which is really convenient so that we can take decisions quick and swift. And as a trader we often wanted to have most of the informations at one place so that I can quickly take decisions. So it's a matter of convenience, and for that it helps. And number two, we're going to talk about the bit of analysis which even an intraday trader can work on it. If time permits, I'll give you some hints in terms of how to pick up the support, resistance, and a few interesting stuff as well. So make sure that you if you people are live, be with us till the last minute. I'm sure you will be getting a good time to interact with us in terms of asking questions. And by any chance, even after the live, if you guys post some questions via the YouTube channel, in the comment section, of course, I hope Ms. Deepthi will convey this to us, and I will also respond back to you people. So let's get started about this content here. So, okay, before I get into core content, let me first give an idea about it, because as it is live, if you are someone who's absolutely new to stock market, I think this 1 hour is something which is maybe out of reach for you, because it is for someone who already got some reasonable idea about trading. Now, I'm not talking about pro, but even if you have some trading experience, okay, or by any chance if you have understanding on analysis, or if you are someone who's specifically looking for some tools to optimize your trading skill, or to understand to quickly take decisions, this video will help you a lot. So this is not where you're going to learn the analysis, but you get to know how to use the analysis in a very smart way. For that, I hope this particular tool. So that's why we say it's a kind of an intermediate audience. So I hope you understand that otherwise, if you see anything goes beyond it, you go see some videos to understand the content, and definitely you can check back to this video to make use of the tool. And this is much more beyond placing orders, because as sooner you get into a trading tool, what best people wanted to know is about how do I place buy order, sell order. Okay, as far as this 1 hour is concerned, it's a very precise. We have about just 1 hour. It's precious about conveying the content. So I'm gonna focus more on the qualitative aspect instead of just talking about how do I place orders, or how do I change orders. Those things, of course, you guys can get it from a TradeSmart directly by getting connected. A lot of people can help you, but the idea of this particular video is to talk about the tool. There are some technical insights you can get out of it, or open interest, the charts. How do I keep my workspace so that I take decisions? All about it. And by the way, it is not about technical analysis or even the quantitatives as well. It's more about tool, as I said. And I try to keep myself not to use any jargon. So they intentionally, if you look at at even Axis, we always believe let's avoid using jargons, because every jargons must be having something, a simple concept behind it. So we insist on the simple concept so that you guys can easily relate to. And as I already told you that in general, every trader, by any chance, if you have ever traded, you will find this 1 hour will definitely be useful, because this tool talks about the convenience. So when I talk about certain features, it tells you how convenient for you it becomes a trading as well as research. So in that perspective, I'm going to deliver this video. And number two, it's going to be, if you're an intraday trader, you feel that, oh my God, I got most of these information at one place, be it real-time scanners or a chart. I think in that case, we fairly got a good feedback from a lot of intraday traders in terms of making use of this tool. And then we got derivative traders. Of course, derivative traders, they look beyond charts, right? They look at the quantitatives. They look at the option chain study, in that grounds, you will be fairly interested in it. I believe this tool got some interesting aspect about it. So let me straight get into the tool so that without much delay, people get feel comfortable about it. Okay. Uh, of course, as I said, I'm not going to tell you how to log in, log out. Those things are fairly simple, and I believe that you people are intermediate. But I think this tool will be available sooner you have, I think, a trading account with TradeSmart. And when you log into this trading tool, this allows you to even punch orders and everything. Of course, there are a lot of workspace. So if you guys want to place a buy order, you guys can actually place a buy order. It actually goes there, but it is just the demo tool. For me, I'm not going to place any buy sell orders, as I told you already. But if you the sooner you actually get into this tool, you see something like the a simple workspace like this, or any workspace you leave gets loaded. Okay, now if you ask me about the overview about it, this is something which gives you a real-time informations, mostly on the market data. But of course, you see some news feeds is also available, which helps you to understand the corporate actions and some relevant news on the way it gets updated. So I strongly feel that this is one tool what you really needed when you go live on trading. So that's what I feel about it. Let me take one by one. As I told you, the very first thing, I already told you that the very first thing now is in what way it offers convenience. Okay, then I go to intraday trader, and finally I go to a derivative trader. I think this is the way there's a flow of content which I'm expecting to proceed. Okay, so if I talk about convenience, okay, as a stock trader, I think most of you must be familiar about a screen like this. Okay, I think the screen like this. If you ask me, I'll just zoom it a bit. Of course, you guys can zoom this font size, but if you want to keep it small, you can do it. It's after all the market space, and it's a workspace, right? It's a market watch, so you can have your own companies. But look at this. In most of the tool these days, the brokers do offer the list of stocks you can pick up. Like if you want to load Nifty 50, if you want to load Nifty IT or a Nifty Bank, if I pick in one click, I got the Nifty Bank. Okay. So it's fairly available with every other tool, but the idea is let's say you are looking at on top of it, you see there is something called Nifty 50, Nifty IT, Nifty Bank, and I see that today the Nifty Bank is started underperforming at one point of time. And then if I wanted to have that particular stock, all you have to do is just right click on any index, and you see something called load watch list. So when you do that, it straight away open the the bank Nifty related thing. Like if I put IT, I straight away get it. Then I can actually filter which stock is actually on top of it or which moving down. See, you don't have to break your head in terms of figuring out what are all the IT companies. Of course, if you see that the pharma stocks or infra stocks are doing well or doing bad, just click on and you see there is something called load watch list. And if you just want to see the scripts, you can just click here and you see the scripts. But of course, if you wanted to have all the features of the market watch, you guys can just load watch list, and it shows you in one list of all infrastructure companies. So let's go back to Nifty watch list. Okay, and it offers like any other trading tool, you find all your comfort with respect to trading. So you get the bid, ask, all of these stuff, but you see something which is beyond even there are a lot of columns which comes pretty interesting here. Like you guys can see there are I'm now talking from the trader who uses some other trading tool, and who's looking after some I can say it is a it's kind of, instead of superhero, I say it's a super tool in a way, because you get not just about trading tool, you have some bit of analysis can also be done. So if you open this, there are a lot of columns which is about the 1 year percentage, the previous day high, previous day low, the open interest, in fact the combined open interest. You must be there in equity, but you can you guys can see something like look at this last column. And now you guys can even sort the stocks based on the open interest, and it is fairly too interconnected. This is a spot market, and we are looking at the derivative market. So in one watch, you are actually getting it connected. In fact, this is a tool which offers you total bid, total ask in the market watch itself. And as far as the colors are concerned, when you look at the real-time basis, it's so appealing and pretty fast for you to quickly understand whether the stock is breaking the day low or stock is breaking the day high. And if you see a stock and at the open column, if you see if there is any colors were on there, so it indicates maybe it is an open high or open low. If it's maybe it's blue or the colors are pretty much customizable. You guys can do it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. If you know that red color means most likely it's open high, which indicates a bearish stance, and if it's a green or blue, then it indicates maybe the open low. So today you see that most markets were pretty much down. So it was 24. I think market were pretty volatile as well as stretched downside today. So most of the stocks were sitting at open high. And coming back to and look at this. By any chance, if you want to jump towards the I'm a Bharti Airtel. Look at this. I told you about convenience, right? Look at this. On the right click, you have something called futures. In one click, okay, I'm just gonna. I have a multi-screen, so it gets loaded in the other screen. But look at this. The moment I see futures, okay, you guys can see that. The moment I click on futures, look at this. The moment I click any company for that matter, you take any company, let's say Bharti Airtel, and I take futures. Okay, it straight away loads me all the future contracts. So otherwise it makes slightly difficult for someone to pick it up. And by the way, if you want to add these in any of your watch list, there is a button called add to watch list. So you guys can pick up you can choose your market watch or a capital market, any you can even create your own watch list and you can actually save it there. See, what happens is we keep doing analysis by going to sector to sector to sector, but here and there you see some company, you just keep adding those stocks into the watch list. It makes it fairly easy for you to do it. And and of course, and I don't know how many of you are comfortable with respect to view like this. This is I think through various medias people might have seen it in terms of keeping so many scripts in a limited screen to have a look at it. There are screen-based traders may really like that particular options. Coming back to the convenience aspect, as I said some time back, Bajaj Auto futures, if I want to pick it up, so in one shot I got all the futures and as well as the spot price. So those who trades on spreads by looking at the spot and the future price, I think now you guys can fairly see the prices and bid ask. I think it's a mini watch specifically for Bajaj Auto with respect to futures. Likewise, we have in one click we have something called option chain. Am I right? If you put it on option chain, you get the option chain right away. Like, let me load it again for you. If I put it on option chain, in one click, you got this option chain right in front of you. And the pretty interesting aspect is here, if you go to NSE website, there may be a lot of strikes and you have to scroll, figure out where they had the money, this and that. This tool makes it the active option right in front of you. So if you look at my flow so far, I didn't talk anything about the technical aspect of it, talking anything about the research aspect, but I'm talking about the convenience. As a trader, of course, we all after all look for the convenience. So I strongly believe that you don't have to go for 10 different clicks to get the strike price. Just click, second click, you get these options right in front of you. And I see it as like a very standard UI in a way that you get all the numbers precisely what information you wanted, and you may have some interesting column customization can also be done. So if that is the case, you guys have something called IV. So if you click on IV, then you end up getting this implied volatility will also be coming into the picture. So that you guys can even do that. Yeah. Coming back to implied, I'll talk about this option, option calculators and everything a bit later. And if you're not comfortable with option chain view, then you guys can have a switch. In one button, it gets switched towards the regular market watch of all the calls input. And if you want to filter only the call options, it shows you only the filters. And if you want to see almost all the strike price, you pick up all the strike price. It fairly gives you all the strike price, but who cares about every strike price? So we wanted to have something which is active, right? And where the spreads are there for me to execute it. So I think it's pretty mostly around this particular. So by default, it is got saved here. And I hope you guys can see there is something called variance, right? There is something called variance. And when you set up the variance, of course, it straight away tells you what is the theoretical value and what is the current traded price. So what sort of variance we have. I think option trader must be aware of that. Like, as an option trader, we wanted to know, like, what is the fair value of the contract, maybe as per Black-Scholes model. And of course, if you wanted to change the volatility, you guys can change the volatility, but our system will also have a default volatility based on the last 1 year movement, what we get it. So in this case, like, if you wanted to calculate everything with respect to 30% of volatility, then you get a different variance. So So if you are a pro who know how to use this, the historical volatility to figure out the variance, you guys can definitely do that. So that's the idea behind it. So far I've talked about, like, in a matter of 1 or 2 clicks, how I'm getting into those, getting into those the screens which provides me of information. So I hope something must be useful to you people. And I'm not, by the way, it's just 1 hour. If you ask me, this tool going to take even 1 full day to talk about it, because I'm not going to take every dialog box here, like, has 1,000 different things to offer. I think market depth, I think most of you must be aware of it. The you should know, like, how to read this, the market depth. If you're fairly good at doing it, then you can use it. But here you get to know the top bids and top ask, the top 5 which will be coming into the picture, and you don't have to shift every time with respect to this. You can keep moving with any company and just click F6. It will come into the picture. And those who are concerned about order filling, let me tell you one thing. Of course, if you are interested about time and scale, I'll talk about time and sale filter. Okay, and if you pick up something called time and sales filter, you get every tick, like, right from morning 9-7, like, how are these trades are happening here. Like, you see about 5,000 shares got traded, another 1 shares got traded, and thereafter about 1,800 shares. In total, we got the total traded volume, everything. So you get the total, the prices. I think based on this, the charts gets actually populated. But the interesting aspect is this, like, you can filter. Like, I wanted to filter the stocks which are actually based, which like I wanted to filter the scenario where the quantities are actually maybe greater than 10,000, 1,000 to 1,500. And if I put it apply filter, yeah, and you see now all the quantities actually got shortlisted only between 1,000 to 1,500. So if I want to pick up something like 10,000 to 10,000 to 1 lakh, okay, 10,000 to 1 lakh. If I put it this way, now look at this. In any one tick, okay, this all happens about a tick, right? So in any given tick, if you see the trades were over 10,000, it actually fairly present you, and you get to know this, and you also get the time as well. So using which you guys can look at it. But if you are someone who wants to look at the 5-minute charts, and if you want to accomplish the same through the charts, you guys can do that as well. But here you get some, you can filter by based on the quantities as well, and people do that similarities in terms of quantity analysis. In that way also it is useful. So if I go down, I mean, as a trading tool, of course, you guys can simply place buy, sell orders. But as a research tool, of course, it should primarily offer something called chart sum, right? The chart is a basic thing on which any technical analyst gonna work on it, primarily on the price actions. So I mean, as I said, like, the convenience aspect, you can just drag and drop. You get this, chart sketch loaded. If you want to have anything on top of it as an indicator, like, if you want, let's say, volume to be there, okay, you can pick up volume as it's a part of the, the indicator. So if you want the volume to be there, you can keep it on the bottom. If you want any more indicators, you can use that, maybe RSI, relative strength index. So relative strength index, and you can actually apply for the default parameter of 14, and you can do that. Or if you don't want it, you can take it out as well. Okay, but if you ask me personally as a technical analyst, I am someone who's at Texas also. We believe this. It is more of a price actions that comes first, and then we have the the indicators and everything, which is helps us to complement or to give the diverse opinion about it. So don't overload with too many indicators. That's not something which we advise it. Okay. Anyway, if you look at this as a convenience, of course, you can drag drop, which I already told you, but you have something like this as well. So on top of it, on top left, you have this kind of icon. And there you can actually pick up the groups. Like, if I want to pick up the banking stocks, just click here and you get only the banking stocks. So this is something which is really useful when you do study at end of the day. Like, let's say you have a habit of seeing almost all the stocks. So you can create your own watch list. And you can actually see that particular watch list alone, the charts. Like, that in that way it will come, like, in my watch, your watch name will come, and whatever the stocks you have in the watch list. Okay, in this case, we have CM. So there are about a few stocks got loaded. So you guys can actually pick up any of the stocks for that matter, and you can load it by default. And I think beyond the a general sectors, you guys can have the industry wise or a sector wise, like food and beverages. You see these companies, it goes beyond the top company names what we live. I think the indexes, the exchange indexes are something which limits to the top companies. But if you go beyond the sector wise, so it fairly can be a lot of things. And I just want everyone to pay attention here. Okay, look at this. Sooner I take something like BPCL, okay, or let's say I take Axis Bank. I can go for a right click, and if you scroll down, they're a lot more interesting. I'm not going to tell you about the alerts, because this is most of you must be fairly aware of it. If not, when you browse it, you can quickly understand it. But look at this, there's something called detailed workspace. Detailed workspace. This is something which I really like it, because when I one click, I get a lot more information. I'm going to do it again. I take this because I'm going to take this detailed workspace. And if you look at this detailed workspace here, look at the kind of information and the way in which it gets presented. Okay, when I keep this open, you get all the informations about this Axis Bank here, but underneath you see this is the companies which are related to Axis Bank. Like you guys can see HDFC Bank, UCO, IOB, ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, SBI, Axis Bank. There are a lot of companies, so you guys can fairly understand how this company is performing in line with other companies. And of course, I already told you about time and sales, which a tick by tick trades gets uploaded. On the bottom, if it is a live market, I hope you see that the charts by this time would have get constructed. So if this is something on the live market gets updated. So, but we are recording this, or we are live by after 4. So I think we were not able to show this. And those who are place the trades based on pivots, I hope you guys got the numbers here. And a pivots is after all the algorithm. So when you place your trades, try to understand how the stock behaves at the support or resistance, that you need to know. Okay, now that, and you have a bulk and block deals which are which you don't just see about yesterday or today, like you see for a pretty consolidated. So this is one screen, I'm right. See, I've got all this information in one click. That's why I say I use the term convenience. Look at this. If I use the term like if I use this Hindustan Unilever, and if I go for a detailed workspace, it fairly presents bulk and block deal and about delivery volume quantities. Like you get to know, like if there are 100 quantities got traded, how much is intraday quantity, how much is the delivery quantity. I think there are few things maybe you are looking forward, and this is a tool which must, I hope there's a high probability that it must be having that particular tool, but you need to know how to actually understand it and make use of it. So, and by the way, I'm not going to explain you about the gross delivery quantities, the usage of that. And but if you look at the open interest here, open interest, gross delivery quantity, fairly different market. People get confused. How come this two gets connected? Because the gross delivery quantity is actually the underlying for the equity. And by the way, the open interest is actually for the derivative markets. But I have picked up Hindustan. So this is not just about limiting to the equity market alone. It also presents the data of the derivative market, so that you can take decisions. So if you see any major change in the quantities or open interest, you guys can pick it up. Of course, if any news or any feeds were related to or any announcements on the exchanges related to Hindustan Unilever is actually presented here. So I hope this would have given you some a fair idea about getting into this particular the convenience aspect. So I already told you about the convenience, and it can actually offer a lot more convenience as sooner you get used to it. But I see there are a lot of convenience because in a way, whatever I told you, that in terms of floating a market watch, moving from one place to another place, all are fairly comfortable. The sooner I see some indexes actually moving and outperforming it, I just like if I see today, just by looking at the screen, I see that it's about mid cap didn't do well, and there are a lot more you guys can pick it up. So IT is weak, bank is weak, so I'm probably interested in picking up back. Or you guys can see even media. So if I want to pick up the stocks in media, just load market watch. It actually, and you guys can see the sorting this based on percentage. And can you see there is a blue color here? I don't know whether it's visible to you people or not. There you see the blue, a color on the traded volume. Do you know what it indicates? It's alert mechanism. Like, I know this is a volume which is quite higher than the usual volume. So that is why I said it is something which is beyond the trading platform, because in any trading platform, it simply provides the data and leaves it to you. But this is something which actually connects the data with today's data, with the previous data, to make your job easier. It is pretty much presentable. So definitely you should try and make use of it, and then you understand a lot more interesting aspect as you move forward. Okay, and now let me actually get into the intraday traders perspective. Okay, now Murugan, is there is anything I'm an intraday trader, Murugan. Do you have something which present me, makes my life easier as an intraday trader? Okay, now let me load this market watch. And by the way, there are a lot of workspace. Okay, that's why I told you this is something which I can't limit by 1 hour. But you see there are a lot of workspace, and there are something which is customized to it. Like you see something like workspace for a trader's workspace. In a way, you see there is a stock, and on the right hand side you see a charts, and at the bottom you see there is order book, trade book, net position, view holdings. So it comes in a tab in a quick way. You guys can pick it up. So it makes it much easier. So if you placed any order, it gets quickly there, and of course you have all these filters. You guys can that I'm not getting in detail of it, so I'm telling you about the convenience aspect here. Okay, and by the way, if it is stocks, it's started with charts, then it loads with the very default charts, and of course you have the markets as well. And if you're interested in about having a multi-chart views, okay, if I click here, it is gonna load me with multi-charts. It means like I can actually keep it as simple as possible. Okay, now look at this one. Okay, now look at this. Okay, now if I want to pick up this BPCL, I can drag BPCL here. If I want to Bharat Airtel, if I want Coal India, if I want Hero MotoCorp. Okay, now so it's and it is all going to be real time calculations. And if you want to pop out to this, you guys can have something called pop out current workspace, so that it actually becomes even interesting. Like screen, you see this particular area, and if you want to pop out this particular chart, which is BPCL chart, you can right click and just pop out, so it actually becomes a whole screen for that particular chart. This is something where you can, if you are in a relative as an intraday trader, we want to have a multi charts right in front of us. I think there you guys can have about 4 charts right in front of you, and this is I call as an advanced charts, because you can apply all indicators, and you can draw lines. Of course, the tools are pretty much available here. If you want to use a Fibonacci retracements, you can use it. So of course there are a lot of tools are pretty much available there. You guys can definitely take it. Which are like, if I take Fibonacci retracements, of course, from the top to bottom, then I look at the retracement area is around 346. The stock is now settled closer to the retracement area of what happened here. So that's all about the convenience aspect. Okay, now let's straight get into the intraday player. For intraday player, what it actually matters. Okay, now I'll make it as a kind of a content along with that the tool. See, as an intraday trader, we are we are primarily concerned about the market sentiment, of course, and we want to take decisions in a in a quick and swift way. So we need something which definitely we need a scanners and filters. As an intraday trader, if you don't understand the importance of scanners and filters, probably you have not seen the importance of the quick executions about it. Let me tell you one thing. The very first thing, like keep always in your flow. There is something you have to keep in your mind. As an intraday trader, you should always keep one thing in your mind, that you should always start from the the market sentiment, and then go to the sector, then go to the stocks. Okay, so as an intraday trader, if you want to pick up the global markets, of course, if I want to look at the global markets, so what you guys can do is you guys can go to view, and there is something called global markets. Okay, when you click on global markets, you get this global markets loaded. I'll repeat for you people again. Okay, global markets. So you see there is Nikkei and Hang Seng, SGX. Of course, this arrangement, even I say it is pretty smart, because on top of it you see Asian markets, and the mid you see something called European markets, and the bottom you see something called Asia, US markets. So it actually follows the sense of timing as well. So the very first market which starts maybe the Australian, then Nikkei, then Hang Seng, Kospi, all these people, Singapore, this all in the morning gets traded. So when you look at the screen in the morning, probably look at this particular Asian markets. But anybody who trade after 1 or 2 o'clock, you guys can definitely look into the European market, which is FTSE, CSE, DAX. And this what and I think intraday traders should understand the importance of the global markets. If you don't understand that, if you have the feel that Murugan, my trades were okay, but during this mid around 11:30 or 12 o'clock, my stop loss gets triggered. By the time European market might have not even started, but there may be an anticipation towards the European market that brings some volatility and takes this hits to happen. So we should actually understand, how is the Asian markets and how is the European markets. What was the yesterday close of Dow Jones? I think this fairly available for you. So remember, as an intraday trader, very first thing you need to know is the global markets. I hope you get this particular information, and beyond which, what you need is about the sector study. Okay, I can even recommend you people to go to this indices. You have something called view, and if you have a map. In this case, this actually tells you about all the advances, declines of almost any index for that matter. So if I pick up something like this in one shot, I got to know the stocks which are not performing well. Okay, now you guys can see this. What I did is I've just loaded the right click. I've taken the stocks. Okay, so look at this. What happened? As far as the advanced decline is concerned, there's a major decline here. And if you want to sort it based on turnover, the turnover is pretty much at okay, I generally recommend people not to go with the group of 10 companies, 50 companies, or 200 companies. We generally recommend people, as an intraday trader, we are concerned about banking company, auto company, instead of top 50 company, top 20 company, because top 20, top 30 company may not have a common behavior, but a banking company. So if you have some consensus among these sectors, then you guys can definitely make use of it. But no, that job can be fairly simple if you look at the top, and of course you guys can even customize that. So if I'm not interested in top Nifty 50, I take Nifty 50 definitely on top. Nifty IT Bank, I don't want the top 100. I don't want the mid caps, but I want this infra to be there, reality to be there, energy to be there, FMCG to be there, pharma to be there. I can actually go for S. So you look at this now. I got Nifty 50 IT Bank, infra, reality, energy, FMCG. I think the top sectors were right in front of me. So this always keep me in the loop that Murugan, the market is weak, the global market is weak, the sector which is performing is the Bank Nifty is performing it. So you get some fairly good idea in terms of how to use this particular tool to understand the live market sentiment about it. Okay, and of course if you want to take one step forward, I'll tell you one thing. If you have something called smart tool here, I'll tell you this. Go to this homepage. Sorry. Okay, now this is something which I like. This workspace, I like it because I'll tell you one thing. On top and right on my right hand side, I get the charts. By default, it loads with 5-minute charts. Of course, you guys can have 1-minute charts, or if you want to customize this 2-minute charts, I think you guys can do it. Or if you want to have 11-minute charts, I don't know, it's about your convenience, but I don't see any logic behind any of these numbers. But 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for an intraday player, it makes sense. About even 1 minute. And of course, day, week, month, it's matter of the positional traders make use of it. And as a trader, I already told you about convenience. On the charts, you guys can actually place a buy order, and it actually pops up the buy order. And interestingly, when you actually click at, let's say I want to place a buy order at 490, 480, I want to buy the shares at 488. Okay, let's say I want to buy the shares at 488. So all you have to do is just click and buy order here, and by default it actually loads with the price of 488. It loads with the price of 488. So wherever you click, it actually takes the price. But if you want to change that, you guys can actually change that. So that is something which is the thought has been given behind the screen to save your time. So if you are someone who's looking at first time, you may not understand the importance of it. But when you trade and when you aggressively execute trades based on charts, then of course you have to save time in the executions of the charts. Coming back to this, I already told you something at the bottom. I hope you guys can see. as an intraday trader, just go along with my flow. The first one is about the market, the global market. You got it, and you looked at the Indian markets. Then you got into a sector. Then you need to look at the stocks. Okay, now those who trade in pivots, I think most of people are, most of the people are following pivots, and for those, I'm talking about this one. In this case, you get to know the stocks which are trading, right at the support level or in between the support 1 and support 2 or support 3. And if you see such stock breaching those support and resistance with high volume, it gets highlighted here. So in a way that it becomes much easier. Like, if you are a pivot trader, I am sure you find this screen very much interesting, because right at one screen, you get to know which stocks are actually going beyond the support and resistance. But you may have a question now, Murugan, what stocks are actually getting default? Like, we mostly track, we are not going to limit ourselves with top 50 company. I think active traders may be having the wide, the range in a way that F&O scripts, any stocks in the F&O scripts. But if you want to limit yourself to Nifty 50, you guys can actually go there and apply that. It is going to limit yourself to Nifty 50 as well. Okay, and look at this. If you want to pick up your own watch list, you guys can create your own watch list, and you can pick up your favorite stocks, and you can actually go for it. And it is going to filter only those stocks which are from that particular area. And if you see that this particular group you want to add to your watch list, you can actually click here to watch list. Like, there are about tens of companies which are breaching the support and resistance, and you want to do it, you guys can do it. And there are a lot of other filters also there, which I come back to it. And I hope you guys can see something called live scanners. This is something which is strange to explain after the market hours. But let me tell you one thing. There you have a filters. Like, this is something which is a must for any intraday player. Like, you need to know what stocks are breaking high and what stocks are breaking low. Like, when markets are making highs, what stocks are actually going along with that. So you need this particular screen right in front of you. So, if you look at me, like, I have a multi-screen window. So I keep, I just want to keep this particular tool always available right in front of me. Of course, it is a part of the workspace here. Okay, I'll explain about these two. But those who wants to pick up these things, you guys can even pick up everything from here as well as a separate window. It will also come in this particular picture, but it's been integrated in the workspace so that it's nicely presented. So coming back to this tells me the stocks which are actually breaking highs and lows. And if you have about only, let's say, Murugan, I got 10 companies. So I want the alerts when one among these 10 companies breaking highs and lows. Then you create the watch list and put all your stocks in the watch list, and you actually apply the filter. So I hope you got a fair understanding about it. Market breadth. I think any intraday trader will agree to this point that market breadth is the the sentiment indicator of the for the day. So if you see advance and decline, I think most of you people maybe use the statement of use the word called advance decline. Look at this. There are about 23 companies advancing today. 120 companies are declining today. When I take about top 50 companies, top. I think by this time we got just loaded about 150 companies. Of course, if you're interested, you guys can load about all companies and see about the market breadth as well. And if you look at NSE futures, the stocks which are in the NSE futures were actually default loaded, which is 147 stocks. 122 stocks were actually on the. And this tool got something more to offer. I told you, like, you go elsewhere, you find this advance and decline, but you may not get the turnover wise advance and decline. I mean, see, I know there are only 24 companies going up, but how much turnovers are happening there? Sometimes 50 companies moving up and 50 companies moving down. But the 50 companies which are moving up got a lot more volume when compared to the 50 companies which are moving down. So that even sometimes gives us an early clue in terms of taking our stance. Sometimes, when the stock, like a day like this today, when the market was falling about, when it was trading at neutral note in the morning session and started falling down, we were seeing this Nifty bank when it was at 24,200 or a 250, 200, 150. We were expecting 24,000 to fairly provide that support. Okay, but when the reaches to 24,000 and how this advance and decline behaves, I have to really understand it, where the turnovers are now started happening, and those things are actually fairly important for someone to work on it. So in that context, this market breadth plays a lot of role for people to understand it. I think I'm getting in detail of those things, but there are a lot more you guys can actually understand using this particular tool. I'm sure if you're a pro trader, you figure out see any media, no, by 9 o'clock when the market opens, the very first thing they highlight is about those market breadth, right? So just because it is available everywhere, don't underestimate it. It can actually gives you the real feel of market breadth. Market breadth sets the sentiment for the day. So you need to go along with the sentiment for as an intraday trader. And okay, now look at this. I'm coming to the market dynamics. Very important because this talks about outperforming. We know sometimes the markets are moving ups or down, but we want to know who's dragging it, who's taking it down. So look at this. You see there is a distribution here. The stocks which are falling below 6%, stocks are falling below 4%. I don't know whether my screens are straight visible to you because I can't zoom this by any chance at this point of time. But if you see, I just take this. If not, you guys can get connected with TradeSmart online, where TradeSmart can actually help you to get all these things. All you need is just about the trading account with them, and provided you meet the terms and conditions, they can help you. And I'm just after all here to present this. So this actually tells you, coming back to the chapter here, if I click here, it actually gives me the 3 company name which are actually fallen over 6%. Can you see that? These three stocks, Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp, and I see there is a common behavior, Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp. So something wrong with the two-wheeler segment. So I need to be aware of it. So today, if someone is asking me, the market sentiment is weak, I see auto sectors are weak, okay, and especially two-wheeler sectors got something seriously wrong. So now what I do is probably on every retracements you can create a short positions, or or probably you see any breakdowns you can create a short position. That depends on looking at charts. So you guys can right click here and you can actually pick up, or you can double click here. It straight away opens the charts by default. I hope you guys got fairly this. And if you want to pick up the futures and options, you guys can look at futures in order to find, if you open this futures, it straight away presents you the future available in front of you, and you guys can see the spreads, premium discounts, and all the stuffs. So I'm going to limit myself towards the intraday player to this. Okay, let me summarize for intraday player. The very first thing what you need to do is about understand the market sentiment, okay, understand the sector, and look at the stocks which are outperforming or underperforming, and look at the, look at the levels by which you see that the support or resistance need to be taken care, and of course you guys can place the trades. See, I'm not gonna it's not for everyone, but of course if you wish to have those indicators, you guys can apply that. You have default indicators on that. Think see, the very first thing is you should know how to apply indicators and take decisions on your own. But if you wish to have the system to alert you on something, like you can actually have SMA. Okay, if you put SMA here, it's a simple moving average, right? So as per simple moving average, it tells you. Can you see? I hope you guys can see there is a red mark here. It gives me a sell signal. I think you may have a complaint. Any videos, everybody talks like this. Right at the top there is a selling, but when you and me trade, it doesn't happen. I agree with you, but because the moving average is something works on the trending node and doesn't work on the in the sideways area. So you should fairly understand about how this trending and non-trending node really works on that in terms of this. So I'm restricting myself, not to get into the details of technical analysis, because it takes a lot of time in terms of for me. But at this moment, the idea of this 1 hour session is just to talk about this, the tool which offers these facilities. Okay, now. And if you want to set something as default, you guys can set that as a default, or if you want to remove anything, you guys can do it. I think super trends, stochastics, relative strength index, fairly actionable indicators, very popular. If you want to make any settings changes, you guys can do a setting changes. And if you want to enable the trigger order window, it will actually keep the order book open. Then it saves time. When there is a buy signal, then there is an order book coming into the picture. So you guys can decide whether what to do with that, either to place order, not to place order. It's fairly simple. So I hope you see there is an effort. It is that is the reason why we say it is something which is beyond the trading platform in terms of executions. Okay, and we have and you see there is unusual volume. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. This window helps a lot for even BTST traders. What I think these days BTST is pretty difficult. I think because of the recent amendments. But coming back to this, if you see unusual volume happening on this particular counter, irrelevant to the recent times, this window will have the screen. So in the morning when you open this window, it will be blank. You will be surprised if you open this by morning 9:30, 9:40. But towards 11, 12, 1, 2, you see some stocks will start getting assigned it. So like if I want to pick up only out of top 50 companies, Hero Motocorp, Nestle, Kotak Bank, but see, end of the day doesn't make much sense because we anyway get this from various scanners and filters. But during the day, if anything actually has the unusual volume, it will actually come into the picture. I think there is something called there is something called potential volume. I think that features have to be enabled here. Coming back to of course, I'm not getting into the top gainers, top losers. That's fairly available through every other websites, and it is also available in the real-time basis. And the idea is you can have your own, the group, or you can have your own, the watch list. So in a way, you guys can even pick up. So that makes it much easier if you have your own watch list, and on your watch list, what stocks is having a top gainer, top losers, everything coming into the picture. It's a matter of convenience, nothing much to offer it. And of course, those who trade with open high, open low, that open high, open low, of course you should be aware of it, right? Open high is a kind of a weakness, expected weakness, because the prices right at the open level started coming down. That's open high. We call it as a bearish indication. If it is open low, then it is in a kind of bullish indication. But by keeping this window open, you get some sentiment of the market as well. So I think more than enough for the intraday trader. Don't complicate yourself. If you start exploring it, there are 1,000 different things available. But you set up your system, keeping it as simple as possible. So you don't have to have everything right open in front of you people. So that's point number one for the intraday trader. So I hope I fairly covered with respect to intraday trader, the charts and real times and all other stuffs, and derivative traders. Okay, now coming back to derivative traders. Before I go to derivative trader, I just want to tell the positional traders. Okay, positional traders spends 90% of the time with the charts. As a positional traders, we are not concerned about scanners and filters. We are concerned about the price actions, or of course, you guys can take option chain data as well. So which I come a bit later. But of course, the price actions is the role on which we work. So very first thing I do is I take the charts, keep it big, and make it daily charts, and then I put my volumes right here, and of course I can save all my settings as default. Okay, now it's my test area, so it's not getting saved anything. So I just want to, and of course if you want to go to any company, or if you want to compare anything with indices, you guys can do it. If you want to set alerts, there are a lot of other things, there are a lot of tools are also available. As a positional trader, I think you find this alert mechanism, you find this starting platform, and you get this all indicators. You don't see 20,000 indicators. The indicators what you have here are something which is universally popular. So I think don't run behind the the holy grail in the market. Just use the popular indicators, just use the supporting tool, and be consistent as your play. Then optimize your risk adjustedness to make money. So that's a general advice for people to trade. Coming back to for a derivative traders. Okay, now the very first thing is option chain, right? Look at this. If I get into right click, I already told you it's a matter of convenience, which is option chain available, and you have this top 50 and 60, and you have change in open interest. Everything gets real time updated. So pretty interesting in terms of looking at it. You see the strike price. The ambience is very clean in terms of looking at it. And the moment you swift it, you have call options, put options, and put call ratio, where it stands based on volume or based on open interest. I hope you guys can see based on open interest or based on volume. So you guys can actually pick up and change that as well. It changes accordingly. Okay, and there is something called live scanners. Okay, now live scanner here. If I pick up live scanners, then you get the underlying contracts. Okay, not underlines, the contracts. Okay, sorry, the futures. Okay, and from there, if it makes any fresh high or a fresh low, then those things gets populated. Of course, you guys can work with near contracts, next contract, or all contracts. You guys can do it, or you guys can actually work with some limited companies underlying to work with that. You guys can definitely do that. Which it's sometime back you people have seen that live scanner and equity. On the bottom, you see a tab which is stock futures. Of course, there is a currency future, which is I'm going to limit myself towards the equity today. Because if you ask me, I'm at Texas, we are into equity analysis, EQ, SAS. If I go towards you know. Okay, and F&O, I'm talking about trend scanner now with respect to F&O. Look at this. I think it's very popular among people. People really wanted to know which is trend scanner. Look at this. You guys got a filter. Like if you want to have on the real time basis, if you want to have any stock which got open interest change greater than 10%, and or if the open interest change which is below minus 10%, and you pick up that stock for me, so you guys can actually have your own custom numbers, right? So you can actually place that, and anytime when it pops up, you get the screen gets rolled here. And if you put this bullish, which is, this is actually from the equity, you get it like any stock which has a gap up, or any stock which has a gap down, which is the bearish you have. Okay, and any stock crossing any moving average, those things will come. But as for the future traders, this is open interest. I think open change in open interest, significant change in open interest, are something which is the basic thing for any traders should be aware of it. So that is fairly available here. And option calculator. Okay, now coming back to this option calculator. Okay, you can actually calculate all the Greeks right in front of you. And if you want to customize any aspect of the interest volatilities, volatility, you can definitely do that. Okay, I am not getting in detail of it because there is some easy way by which even we can do it. I hope you people got this point here. But look at this, a very simple thing. I just want you people as an option trader. One thing I'm gonna take before I conclude. I hope you guys can see something like this, which is a Nifty 50, right? I'm going to take right click, and you guys can see something called option pay workspace, payoff workspace. Just click here. Okay, just click here, and in one button, this actually getting loaded. Okay, look at this. This can actually do wonders for people. I don't know. Let's take all. It's loaded. Okay, now look at this one. If I take option chain workspace, if I take option chain workspace, this actually pick up the stocks. Maybe it is off market, it is not getting loaded, but you see, okay, now thank God it got loaded. Maybe for my issue, I hope you guys can see it. It offers a lot of interesting information. It tells you what is the underlying price, call option, put options, and the major call options and put options we have taken. And right in front of you, it has given you some payoff. I think this you might have seen in books or some recommended strategies, but here it is all taking the live market data, actual prices, and it gives you the break-even points, maximum loss. I think it's long call. I hope you understand. Okay, now when it comes to long call, we have a lot of strike price, but we might have taken with at the money strike price. So here you see the bull spread with a fairly comfortable risk reward. So you get to know what are the maximum risk and what are the maximum returns. And if you're and you on mouse over, you get to the I'm not able to showcase, but I hope you guys see on my mouse over, you see the trade is also available. What to buy, what to sell in order to achieve the same the payoff. So this is a strangle. We have a straddle here, a long and shorts. We have it. And you guys got a bear spread, and which on the bottom you see anything which is kind of the first two is the bulls, and the bull spread, I think, well, if you put it in this way, and you guys can pick up any company for that matter. If you pick up ACC and load it, it takes a while because it has to compute a good number of things and calculate it for you, and it simultaneously present 6 plots to you people. And of course you have bit advanced things in terms of customizing. Like look at this bull spread there, bear spread there, long put and long call, straddle, strangle. This is something which is a neutral strategy. This is something which is a volatile strategy. This two are bearish, two are bullish. But the point is, it's a matter of convenience. By just taking any stock. HDFC Bank, look at this. Okay, I hope if you got a patience to watch this stream with us till this minute, you see right click here, and you have something called option pay workspace. Okay, now. Okay, I think it depends on the features, but okay, it's not there. But of course, you guys can find it here, option pay workspace here, and you guys can pick up whatever the company you type here, and just click here, and it loads you with HDFC Bank, and you guys can decide what to buy with that. Hope I've made some fair efforts in terms of conveying all these things to you people. But before I wind up, I'll give you one more interesting thing for option chain traders. If you go to option chain here, you guys see something on top of it. Okay, it is a visual effect of the same table with respect to OI. So I'm just going to take the screen. I hope you guys must be familiar about it. You see the distribution of open interest here. So of course, in this time, I cannot explain what is open interest. I can't go about all these content in detail. But here you see there is, if you look at, there are a lot of tools you guys can find it, like option chain filter. You guys can do it, high call premium, high put premium. There are a lot of things you guys can do it. But just give you the glimpse about it. You guys can see that, this stock is trading at resistance because we see, the maximum open interest is built on 24,000 call option as a put option. You see that the green is put option, okay, and as far as the call option is concerned, it is 25,000. And if you're interested about looking at change in open interest, there is something called a different tool here which talks about change in open interest here. So this says the put option, the call option, open interest got built up here.